Hi, this is Dr. Mark Hyman. All right, what is the story with protein? Over the last 20 years, we've gotten a lot of mixed information about how much we should eat and what kind we should eat and whether you should be a vegetarian or go paleo and eat, buffalo liver. Was Atkins right, or maybe you should stay away from animal protein altogether? It's enough to make you crazy and confused. The truth about protein, it's actually more nuanced than either camp would have you believe. Each person is different, and each person thrives on different types of food. Some do a great job as vegans, others wither. I've seen bad medical problems from people being vegans, and also I've seen extraordinary miracles. Some thrive on animal protein, and some feel awful and sluggish and sick. So consider the difference between the Greenland Inuits from Greenland in the Arctic Circle and the Pima Indians from the Southwest in Arizona. The Indians were robustly healthy on a diet very high in animal protein. They consumed mostly whale and walrus and seal. Also, it was very high in fat, about 70-80% fat. The Pima, on the other hand, were mostly vegetarian. They focus on local carbohydrates such as whole grains, squash, melons, legumes, beans, chilies, mesquite, acorns, cactus, chia, herbs, and some fish. So they had about 80% of their diet as carbs. Now, 80% protein, 80% carbs, they were both healthy, right? Whether you focus on vegetarian sources or animal sources, one thing is certain. Protein is an essential part of the human diet. All of the thousands of molecules in your body are built from only 8 or 9 essential amino acids that we must get from our diet. These essential amino acids are the raw materials out of which our whole body is built. And here's how it works. When you eat food and protein's digested, the protein is broken down into its constituent little elements, its amino acids, these little building blocks. The only job, now this blew me away when I learned this, the only job your DNA does is to take these amino acids and string them together to make proteins that make up every molecule and every cell in your entire body. That's all your DNA does. So think about it. Your entire genetic material, your entire genetic code is only doing one thing, making proteins from these amino acids. That's all it does. And it builds your structure, it builds your biochemistry, your physiology. It's extraordinary. Now, think about what happens when you don't get enough dietary protein. Your DNA has nothing to work with, and that's a tremendous problem. But the importance of protein doesn't really end there. Protein makes up all of our messenger chemicals or neurotransmitters that do the talking in your brain and throughout your body. So they communicate messages from cell to cell. How do your cells know what to do? Well, they talk to each other. And guess what? These proteins are the messenger chemicals. They're like the words that help cells talk to each other. Proteins also used to build the little receptors, or like the docking stations for these neurotransmitters. So when, let's say, serotonin binds to your cell, it binds to a little receptor that's built up of a protein that is made into this receptor. So if your cells are going to talk to one another, if they're going to hear anything at all, they need protein to help them do this. Without protein, the vital communication that your body depends on doesn't work. You're deaf, basically. The only source of these amino acids is protein you eat in your diet. If you don't eat adequate protein at every meal, your body and brain can't work. You'll be sluggish, foggy, anxious, unfocused, tired, and depressed. So people eat just sugar and carbs, that's how they feel. You'll also get hungry. Protein helps balance your blood sugar. It balances the glycemic load of your meals and mitigates hunger. So it helps the food be absorbed more slowly, and you have more of a slow drip in your bloodstream, and you don't get these swings in your blood sugar. It also means that you'll tend to eat more throughout the day if you don't eat protein, because you get hungrier. So if you eat less protein, you're going to eat more overall food for the day. And this can lead to weight gain and all the problems that come along with it. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, you name it. So there's no question about the importance of protein in your diet. The real questions are how much and what kinds of protein to eat. Okay, let's try to get into that. Some few may thrive on a diet that's rich and heavy in animal protein, like red meat. But most of us need to be very careful with that. Research, including Colin Campbell's China study, points to the risk of too much animal protein. It's a very acidic protein. Actually, just a little aside here for a minute. Not all animal protein is the same. If you're eating wild animals, if you're eating kangaroo or crocodile, if you live in Australia, for example, or if you're eating elk or buffalo, if you were a Lakota Indian, your fat and protein and amino acid composition the quality of the protein is completely different. And that has different effects on your body. So the proteins we used to eat are very different than the feedlot raised proteins that we eat now, or the factory farmed proteins that we eat now from animal foods. So I recommend a few sources of good quality protein, and you can include these at every meal. Beans or legumes, including traditional whole soy products, not processed soy junk food like soy bars and soy powder, different kinds of soy powders that may not be good, or processed soy foods or soy burgers or soy hot dogs, but traditional soy foods like tofu, tempeh, edamame, and any kind of beans. All beans are great. Lentils, black beans, navy beans, you name it, mung beans, whatever you like kind of beans, red beans, all good. They're a great source of protein. They're also a good source of fiber and lots of minerals. Nuts are also great sources of protein. Almonds, walnuts, macadamia nuts, pecans, great source of protein. Seeds, also wonderful. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, all great. Great things to have around the house and keep with you and have as a snack. Omega-3 eggs, another great source of protein. These are chickens that are fed flax seeds or maybe fish products that actually get lots of omega-3 fats in the eggs, and they're actually healthy for you. Also, low toxin fish and things like small wild fish, small salmon. The basic rule with a fish is if you can put the whole fish in your pan, it's probably okay. Because it's not eating a lot of other fish, and the bigger the fish, the worse the mercury is. Swordfish, tuna, tilefish, shark are the worst. Little sardines, those are the best. And also you can have grass-fed, organic, hormone, antibiotic, pesticide-free poultry. You want to have animal protein, okay, but you want to make sure you're getting good quality protein. Now, it's a little more expensive and you want to have a little less of it, but as a treat from time to time, it's fine. Also, small amounts of lean, organic, grass-fed, hormone, antibiotic-free lamb or beef or buffalo, ostrich. These are interesting. Buffalo, venison. These are actually leaner, and you can get them in some markets. I wouldn't eat red meat more than once or twice a week, maybe even, I would say, once or twice a month, and no more than 4 to 6 ounces per serving, which is about the size of the palm of your hand. So by adding these types of protein to every meal, you're going to stabilize your appetite, you're going to provide your DNA with the fuel it needs to build your body and your brain, and it's really important. So remember, protein is power, the power of lifelong health and a stable, happy, calm mind.